Gamescom was pretty packed with announcements. I'm Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, here's 10 new things we heard about at Gamescom. Number 10 is Anno 1800, with the last couple of Anno games being futuristic, specifically set in 2070 and 2205, and even including a deep ocean simulation and an expansion pack. It's very interesting to see them move it back to a more historical setting. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Anno is more of a city-building, business simulation RTS. The heavy emphasis is on exploration, diplomacy, and trade. There are combat elements, but fans of the series know that the previous installment, the 2205 one, actually had a bit of a drought in content, and it was very oversimplified. The previous futuristic game, 2070, however, was almost universally loved. It's a series that made its name on complex gameplay. Hopefully 1800 shifts more towards that, but there are a few things from 2205 that I do hope they retain. Like, in some cases, icons are better than text, but not in all. Still, this should be a good game. They've got a pretty darn good track record with this series. Number 9, we found out The Sims 4 is finally getting cats and dogs. In fact, in a new expansion, which is named Cats and Dogs, a Create a Pet tool will be added to the game. You'll be able to mix breeds together, as well as totally change the color of the animals. And yes, add clothing and accessories. And because there's pets, they'll need veterinarians, so you'll be able to do that not only as an occupation, but also as a business. There's also going to be a locale added with pet-specific activities, and if this stuff excites you, it's not even that far away. November 10th is when Cats and Dogs is hitting. Number 8, a couple of Battlefield 1 items of news. First being Incursions, a 5 versus 5 match that is intended to be very, very fast-paced. However, retain the strategic element, but intended to specifically rework the point system so that quote-unquote every point counts. What's interesting is that the mode is actually being geared towards being fun to watch, so one has to imagine there is an esports element of this announcement that will probably be built and expanded upon as we learn more. They're also doing something called the Revolution Edition, which will be a collection of all the content that they've currently released, which, if you haven't gotten Battlefield 1 up till this point, it is priced at the $60 price point, although if you buy it online, you can get it even lower. It's a good way to get into the game because, frankly, there's a fair amount of DLC at this point. Number 7, Final Fantasy 15 is coming to PC, which is great for people who wanted to play this game but couldn't. Let's go ahead and say this, Final Fantasy 15 is a phenomenal game. Not everybody loved it at first, and there's a section of the game that had to be totally redone. But you know what? It's one of those games where I just really, really enjoyed. And although I'll say it wasn't the most satisfying ending of all time, the way the game is structured, it managed to be like a lot of different things at once and do it successfully. I do very much hope that this is kind of the template that they use going forward and just sort of improve upon some elements. But guess what? Final Fantasy 15 on PC is going to have mod support. Yes. Number 6, a new Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord trailer came out, touting a new mode called Captain Mode, where 5 players on each side will control infantry, cavalry, or archers for a large-scale epic battle, they called it. And obviously it's not the largest scale epic battle of all time, but frankly the mode looks pretty damn cool. From what we've seen of it, it looks both frenetic as well as well-organized and streamlined, as far as I'm concerned, and it should be an interesting thing to try. Now, Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord has been in development for, let's just say, a little bit too long, and I'm just hoping we get a release date soon. That's kind of the thing I'd like to hear. That said, this does look pretty damn cool. Number 5, a new Overwatch map was revealed called Junkertown that looks surprisingly like Mad Max and is interestingly enough set in the Australian outback, which, oh, we all know exactly what they're referencing with that. Hell, they even have a damn Thunderdome. It's cool they did something more dystopian though, as opposed to the fairly utopian everywhere else in Overwatch, and they even released an animated short to go along with it. And at number 4, Xbox One X. Scorpio Edition and Minecraft Edition were both announced. Now keep in mind, these editions are not different hardware or anything, they're specifically just aesthetic takes, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people like the idea of a Project Scorpio Xbox One X, because that's probably one of the first times a codename hasn't been stupid. As a further piece of information, it was noted that there will be 100 different enhanced games at launch, including Wolfenstein 2, which, yes, thank you. Number 3, a game called Biomutant got announced, which is an open-world action RPG. and in no way is that shocking, but aesthetically speaking, this is a huge breath of fresh air. You play as a sort of mutant raccoon that you get to customize, and seems to have a pretty interesting combat system based on swords, guns, melee, long range, etc. There's also mechanical, interchangeable body parts, and in a lot of things, this kind of looks to me like a really old school take on a genre that is decidedly new school. If you were to describe just the aesthetic to me, I would say that sounds like a 90s game, but seeing it, it's obviously a lot more involved. Now, I'm interested in this because I like the old mascot character games, and this is kind of like a combination of that and a lot of new ideas. There's so much color, and it really is a gorgeous looking game on top of all this. Also, there appears to be a huge variety in terrain, landscape, and what you're going to see, and I'm very, very excited for this game. It's kind of utterly random, but it has tons of personality, and that's the thing that I look for in a new IP, and I don't know, I think this is going to be something big. Number 2 is Jurassic World Evolution, which is basically Zoo Tycoon or Planet Coaster, except it's Jurassic Park. And let's go ahead and, well, say something. This is like a dream come true game. And if they don't mess it up, frankly, like, this will be amazing. I really enjoy these types of theme park simulator games, dating all the way back to the game called Theme Park, but doing it as a Jurassic Park thing. I kind of really like that idea because it's a take on the Jurassic Park franchise that we just haven't gotten. And frankly, it's great we're getting one. I've actually had conversations where I said, it'd be really cool if you could do Theme Park, but with Jurassic Park. And it's happening. And finally, number 1 is Age of Empires 4, which promises to be quite the ordeal. It's been a long time since an Age of Empires game, and not only are we getting remasters of all the old ones, which I'll definitely take, but we're getting a totally new one, and frankly, it appears as though the might of Microsoft is being put behind it. Now, if this doesn't include some of the downfalls of a massive company organizing the sequel to a beloved franchise, this could be great, but I do have to say I am just a slight bit, well, cautious about it, because it's got that huge budget behind it. It's got Relic, which has done good games like Company of Heroes and Homeworld, but Company of Heroes 2 wasn't perfect, to say the least. That being said, I am optimistic about it because, frankly, they aren't just doing this, they're also giving us definitive editions of all the old ones, which to me kind of says they want people to experience the old gameplay again, and therefore they're comfortable having the new version compared to it, and that provides some context I think is encouraging. Also, it's Age of Empires, truly one of the premier franchises in strategy history. What are you most excited for as far as Gamescom announcements? Leave us a comment, tell us what you think, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now would be a good time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.